lounging, son.
Welcome back to the Comic Lounge. My name's Ryan, and I am here to talk about one of my favorite books that came out this week, Batman and Robin, #1. Got to show off this double page, or this wraparound cover. I really dig it. I just love the layout of this, where you're getting different shots from within the book overlapping. So it's really dope. Joshua Williamson, Simone DeMeo, great creative team. Anybody that knows me knows how much of a Joshua Williamson fan I am. And Simone DeMeo on this book, his art is next level. Between his coloring and his layouts, he's got a very unique style to him. This is a book that I feel like there should always be a Batman and Robin book. Yes, Robin should be a part of the Batman ongoing, but I also wouldn't mind if you kept that kind of separate. Batman proper just has the solo Batman stories, and then you get a team up book like this where you can really dive into the relationship the two of them have. Obviously Damian over the past couple of years has had kind of a strained relationship with Bruce, but now that they've reunited post the Batman versus Robin book, leading up to this book recently, the Batman Catwoman war, so he's kind of estranged from the rest of the Bat family because they're kind of siding with what Catwoman has decided to do. I won't get into that too much, but the only one that's stuck by Bruce was Damian. That's what we're going to lead in with here. And we get this little kind of teaser of what we're going to expect. And it's this line right here. The animals of Gotham have been allowed to run wild for too long. If Gotham is to survive the end times, it must take extreme measures. And I know just who to start with. Obviously, if you look at the wraparound cover, we have a lot of animal-themed villains portrayed there. And we're going to see them in here as well. I love how DC's been doing this, and I think Marvel's been doing it too on some of their books, where we get this double page with the credits. I love seeing it. It feels way more cinematic than just having the credits very small within the page, and it also just has adds a cool little effect when you're reading it. Boom. So one thing I've noticed too, and I was talking with a buddy of mine, is Batman's kind of visually, it seems like he's portrayed a little bit younger, and Damian looks a little bit older than we've seen. Obviously, I don't think he was 10 when he was introduced, but and even in here, it's mentioned that he's going to be going to high school, which I'll get into when I get to that spot, but he's definitely portrayed a little older. Looks a little, even his hair looks a little bit different, but I'm digging it. They're going against White Rabbit, and like I said, just the layouts, the way that the art is presented is so unique to DeMeo that you don't see it. You don't see many artists kind of taking this. And definitely the glow of his coloring gives it that kind of futuristic. I'm not trying to compare it, but kind of the Batman Forever type of Gotham with everything's really colorful and bright lights. Just a great shot right here. And just the dialogue with Damian, bragging rights to whoever takes out the most of White Rabbit's goons. And he's like, yeah, just focus on the safety of the hostages, then we keep score. So it's great to see them back together. We haven't seen them together for a while. You get this little moment, a fist bump. He even says good work to Robin. They're taking over this blimp. And he just tells him to park it at the GCPD. If you haven't been reading Batman recently, Batman lost his fortune. He doesn't have the mansion anymore, and he is living in a brownstone apartment. So they're going up. So obviously, one of Bruce's many women suitors is over there, talking about the gang and I know the bouncer working at the Iceberg Lounge. If you want to join, it's and he's gonna hang out with his son. He's moving in with him. Let me know if you ever want me to babysit or just bring some pizza or something. And Damian's reaction is priceless. And even this, you roll your eyes just like your mother, but it's important we keep up appearances. And it's true, to the world, they're father and son, not Batman and Robin. So, and this is where, we kind of mentioned, because of everything going on with Selena, it's just us here. And this definitely seems to have more of a homey vibe than the way the mansion was. He basically gives Damian the lowdown because Damian hasn't been here. And so he's telling him upstairs are the living quarters, all that stuff. I know it's not the mansion, but it has everything we need. And even acknowledging that the last few years have been difficult for a young man to deal with. And we get this nice little montage of kind of what's been going down. in the Bat family with Damian over the course of the past couple years. And again, this is where I said, like, Bruce kind of looks young and Damian definitely looks older. Like, he reminds me more of, like, how Tim Drake was portrayed when he was first introduced. And even as Bruce is trying to make this connection with Damian, you know, he's reaching out to Damian, which you don't really see Batman or Bruce Wayne open up as much as he is in this issue, talking about, like, how he's just happy that, you know, Damian's going to live with him. And Damian, you know, being Damian, is like, you know, if we need to get the adequate amount of rest if we're going to be at our best when we're fighting crime. So good night. Another great, you know, like Bruce saying, "How did you do it, Alfred?" Because, like, this is something new for him. This is not, he's always had Alfred in his corner. He doesn't have him anymore. And then we go to this page with Damian, and I thought that this was really interesting because this seems like a way that Damian is kind of working out his issues. He's writing about, you know, the murder of Crows mystery, Damian Vane with a V. The Prince of Crows was missing, and he, you know, talks about right here, understood the prince, the pressure he was under. My mother was a hero, father a criminal, which is like the reverse of who his parents are. And he says they were the greatest trainers I could ask for, but they often forgot how to be parents. So this kind of, to me, hinted at what we might expect from this book going forward, and really watching the relationship without the costumes kind of develop more so than we have maybe before, or at least the past few years. This is great too. You know, as Bruce is waking up, Damian's in the kitchen preparing food and smacks him because he's like, "Are you an animal? That's not how a gentleman prepares tea." So that, you know, it's, again, we're seeing them out of the costume, which we don't really get to see and haven't seen in a very long time, and getting a different dynamic to their relationship. And this is where, you know, Bruce is wanting to lay ground rules, and he says, "You're going to be going to high school. I enrolled you, and you're starting tomorrow." And he's like, but Damian thinks it's for something. He's like, "Oh, great. I got a lot of secret identities. You know, just who are we investigating?" He's like, "No, you need to be around kids your own age." Like, basically, like, with everything Damian's been through, he wants to give Damian something he didn't have, and which is also more of a normal childhood. Which, I mean, I don't know how normal you can have when you're fighting crime, but, like, we've seen it with Tim Drake, we've seen it with Dick Grayson, and how different they are to Bruce, and maybe he's hoping some of that can kind of influence Damian as well. And so and again, like, it's not, you don't need to really read the stuff that's going on with this Gotham war between Batman and Catwoman, but it is underlying here, and he's talking about, you know, even though with what's going on with Selena, there are still active cases in Gotham that we need to take care of. And he's not going to let him drive the Batmobile. He's like, you know, like you said, even though I was away, I learned a lot of stuff. What does he learn? He has his own car, and it's this, like, monster truck, just like a spray painted R. It's pretty dope. So they're going to go after Killer Croc, and we get some awesome fight scenes. Like I said, we have the animal themed villains. We have Orca, we have Man-Bat. This is where Simone DeMeo's, like, the way he's laying out, I think you could, maybe some people might have confusion in terms of which way to read. But to me, it's pretty simple. You just follow the action, and if you just go like that, boom, boom, like that, pretty simple to read. So the Terrible Trio, which is the fox, I don't know what kind of bird that is, and this shark, he's like, this isn't their usual MO, that, you know, working for somebody else. And what, you know, and he's like, why are you pretending to be something you're not? And then we see that he's not. They're actually mutated animal-human hybrids now. But during the fight, Batman got hit with a gas pellet, and now he's been infected by something, and we don't know exactly what it is. And all these bats are flocking to him. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what the effects of that pellet did to Bruce. I'm thinking maybe there's a possibility of him turning into part bat, but this is just speculation. But I think this was such a phenomenal first issue. Can't wait for the second issue. This is exactly what you want in a Batman and Robin book. You got the perfect blend of action. You got mixed with the father-son dynamic, which, I mean, he's been a father figure to the other Robins, but never were they like his actual flesh and blood son. Very cool to see them back together again. I can't recommend this book enough. Hit up your shop. Go pick it up. While you're at it, make sure you follow us on social media. Our links are down below. Hit the subscribe button so you're notified every time a new vid drops. And on that note, I'm out.